let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, what do you know? Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, 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 near and far. Happy Friday to all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Voices of the Islands, conversations for the world, and definitely the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. It's good to be back with you. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. It is the weekend. It feels like it's been a month. Yeah, pretty much in 1 week, all jammed into 1 week. But that's how bad it's been, or I would say productive. However you want to describe it, I know what I'm talking about. But I'm hoping not many of you feel that way today because you're looking forward to this weekend and just saying goodbye, if you're a 9 to 5 person, to Friday at work in the office. But we got to actually acknowledge those persons in our uniform service stores who are actually in the healthcare industry as well, where it's not a 9 to 5. Some are probably just waking up, getting ready to go to work. You know what? We thank you all for your service. Thank you for all that you do. But whatever it is, it's good to be above ground and to give thanks as we usher in the weekend. Yes, for those of you just joining me for the first time, hello and welcome to our podcast. This is Sabrina Speaks. I am Sabrina, and we are broadcasting live from the Cayman Islands every Monday to Friday from 5 until 7. And today is definitely one of those days that I really like because it's open mic. From the front lines to the heart lines, yes, literally, the mic is open and the floor is for you for real talk, brave talk, and the kind of conversations that moves us forward as people. No scripts. I got some notes though. Definitely no filters, just you, me, and whoever, and all of you that are tuning in right here and from around the world. Yeah, so grab your tea, settle in, get ready, because Open Mic Friday is getting started. And your voice might be the one that shifts the entire conversation. And that can also happen by calling us 345-936-8255 if you want to join in on the discussion. Yes, that's the number to be a part of the conversation this evening. And you're all so welcome to join me. Yes, the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and our participants, is intended solely for general, informational, and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Yes, hello, I see you all coming. Good to be back here. Got plans for the weekend? Oh, let's see what the weather's going to do. Let me bring you the weather for this evening and a little insight into the weekend. The synopsis calls for moderate winds and seas, along with some isolated showers that are expected across the Cayman area over the next 24 hours as a low level moisture and instability linger over the Northwest Caribbean. Radar imagery show a few isolated showers around Cayman and moving towards the west. The forecast for tonight calls for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of overnight showers with possible thunder. Temperatures will fall near the mid to upper 70s. Winds will be easterly 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. The forecast for tomorrow calls for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid 80s with a heat index near 93. Winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. There was a high tide at 5:02 this evening and a low tide at 5:02 this evening, and a high tide will be for 11:47 this evening. Sun will set at 6:31 and sunrise tomorrow morning at 6:41. The outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through the weekend as moisture and instability lingers across the region. So whatever activities, if you have them planned outdoors this weekend, just be cognizant of that and always be prepared. After all, we live in the tropics. This may be your dry seasons, but hello, with climate change, I wouldn't bet on it. Welcome, one and all. It's a Friday here. Yes, and it's Open Mic Friday. But let's get straight into the headlines for this evening. Yes, that is making the Sabrina Speaks podcast. Cineco has launched a new pilot program that allows certain medical procedures to be approved directly by private healthcare facilities, bypassing the chief medical officer's approval process. Now, the initiative reported by Cayman Marl Road aims to speed up access to care for Cineco members by reducing administrative delays. According to officials, the pilot is limited to select providers and specific services, and will be closely monitored to ensure patient safety, cost control, and compliance with national health standards. The Ministry of Health says the program is part of a broader effort to modernize Cayman healthcare system and improve the patient experience. On to the Anti-Corruption Commission chair has been appointed. That's Graham Hampson, a veteran Caymanian attorney with more than 35 years of experience, has been appointed as the new chair of the Anti-Corruption Commission after the post sat vacant for over 6 months. Governor Jane Owen says his leadership will strengthen integrity and good governance across our islands. Other news making local headlines today is the Cayman Islands government acquired 74 parcels of land last year, valued at $25 million, as part of a strategy to reclaim public access, expand parks, and preserve natural spaces. The initiative includes the new Central Scranton Park and aims to reverse decades of lost shoreline access. Other local news, the Caribbean Development Bank says Cayman remains a high priority jurisdiction for climate resilience financing despite its high income status. The bank highlights the island's geographic vulnerabilities and ongoing need for development support. Putting our focus into the Caribbean, Jamaica has officially ended its 50-year medical cooperation program with Cuba, bringing one of the region's largest standing health partnerships to a close. The announcement follows a review by Jamaica's Ministry of Health, which says that the country now has enough locally trained doctors to meet national demand. For decades, Cuban medical professions have filled critical gaps in Jamaica public health system, especially in rural areas. The government says it will transition existing services while strengthening recruitment and retention of Jamaican healthcare workers. Regional analysts note this decision marks a significant shift in the Caribbean-Cuba cooperation. Other news making for the Caribbean, a growing number of Caribbean professionals are struggling to secure remote jobs, despite having strong qualifications and international experience. Recruiters say the issue isn't talent, it's outdated application strategies that no longer match global hiring norms. Many applicants are still using traditional resumes, generic cover letters, and passive job search methods in a market now driven by digital portfolios, skill-based assessments, and algorithm-filtered applications. Experts warn that without adapting to these new standards, Caribbean job seekers risk being overlooked in the rapidly expanding remote work economy. And bringing it right back home here this evening, this afternoon, the Cayman Islands marks a defining moment in our democracy journey. Just a few moments ago, the country will officially launched its first ever Commonwealth Women Parliament's Cayman Islands branch, which is a historic step in strengthening women's leadership and representation in public life. The Commonwealth Women's Parliamentarians, or CWP, is a global network dedicated to empowering women parliamentarians across the Commonwealth. It provides mentorship, training, and support to help women lead confidently, legislate effectively, and shape national policy with full weight of their lived experience. For Cayman, today's launch is more than just symbolic. It signals a commitment to building more inclusive parliament, one that reflects the voices, perspectives, and leadership of women across all three islands. Now, just to note, I was invited to be there this afternoon as someone who has also served as an elected member of parliament and contributed to this chapter in our history. But today, I choose to be here with you, our listeners, our viewers, our community, because these milestones belong to us all. And together we continue to work lifting women's voices, whether inside the chamber or out in the wider public square. You can still witness this moment live on CIG TV, your YouTube or Facebook channel, with remarks from local regional leaders who have championed gender-sensitive governance across the Caribbean. So as Cayman joins the wider CWP network, congratulations to the speaker for making this happen, today becomes part of a much larger story, one of progress, representation, and the ongoing work to ensure that every woman who chooses to lead has support, visibility, and the opportunity she deserves. There you have it. All right, Cayman, that wraps up the news machinery for this evening here on Sabrina Speaks, this Open Mic Friday. And now this lighten the mood and give us an opportunity to send some birthday shout outs. Yes, and for all of you who are listening and viewing to us online, it's good to have you here with us. But happy birthday to everybody who's celebrating a birthday today, who will be celebrating a birthday over the weekend or an anniversary. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to all of you. It's good to be here with you this evening. Hey, Andrew, good evening to you. Blessed Friday. Hope you're looking forward to the weekend. And of course, Damian Henry's in the house. So good to have you here with us as well. Happy Friday. One day your life will flash before your eyes. Make sure it's worth watching. Yep. But I'm here with all of you today. It is good to be here with you. And this is Open Mic Friday. 345-936-8255 is the number to call to be a part of this contribution here. And don't be surprised if I exit stage just a little bit earlier so that you can take in some of the events. But there is some stuff going on. I have some historic context as well into just going into exactly what this means for us. So yeah, for those of you who want to join in, participate, if your memories serve you of women who led with dignity and grace, trailblazers here in the Cayman Islands. And did you know there is a little history about Women's Month here that we celebrate? Yes, there is some history. I got to give you that. But today marks a significant milestone for us here in the Cayman Islands as we continue to modernize our parliament, but also creating an environment that is more attractive, hoping we will get more women to stand for political office. And if they actually do, that they have the necessary resources, they're respected, they feel included, because you know that area, you can't be thin-skinned. It is dominated for years by men, but now we're seeing it shifting. So this is historic for us. And I'm hoping as we continue to build and evolve that we will see a lot more women running for political office and that they get the support that they need. Yes. Cayman has a lot of trailblazers. Let me tell you something. We have a lot of trailblazers, Caymanian women. And, you know, many a times we actually, it's like they're forgotten. Whether or not you take them for granted. Yes, Miss Anna Huldabut, you got it. Well, Andrew, are you on the ball today? Hey, Plain and Straight, how you doing? Happy Friday. Annie's in the house. It's good to have you here. Yes, Miss Anna Hulda, oh boy, she was a trailblazer and she made sure she kept them in line. I can see her right now with those silver frame glasses and wide brim hat. That woman was on point. And it's women like her and so much that came after her, and for those who are creating the pathway right now today. So it is, like I said, historic moment. Whether or not we become complacent or out of sight or out of mind, these women, these brave women from even the right to vote, they, you got to wonder what they were made of. They definitely were visionaries. They knew, some may actually call them bullies in today's world. But can you imagine if they didn't have that diplomacy about them, that go-getter spirit? Maybe we would be still fighting for the rights to vote, or for fighting for some of those rights that these brave ladies stood for, and the change that they made that is now being actually recognized. Yeah. So, you know, there are young women who are aspiring to be in this space. By all means, we want to shape that space. So the leaders serving today and the young women rising up to take their place, because guess what? We all have a chapter. We all have a cycle. We all have to go through it. And at some point we will be replaced, because even though around the world on Sunday, March 8th, recognizes International Women's Day, we, for some reason, celebrate it for the entire, and I'll tell you what that reason is, for the entire month. We do something very different. We celebrate women the entire month of March. And this tradition, obviously, is very specific, beginning with I was researching it, like how it begun here, because you're seeing, if you Google right now International Women's Day, all it's going to come up is the 8th of March, right? But then we do it an entire month. I found an article, shameless plug for Cayman Compass, that they actually did. And I got digging and digging. You know, they're one of the trusted news sources here in the Cayman Islands. And according to a Compass article, the Honoring Women Month was launched back in 1999. Guess by who? Guess by who? Yes, by Governor John Owen, a man. Yes, he made it a simple but this powerful request that the Cayman expanded its observance from a single day to a full month. And that request became the foundation of a national tradition that we're still observing for this entire month of March. Now, for more than 26 years, also the Family Resource Center has, carried that vision forward, shaping Honoring Women Month into one of the most meaningful celebrations on our national calendar, with various events happening. But I did not realize that that is where the entire month celebration came from. And he came here and he observed the strong stance, and of course, learning about our women, and Andrew said it so well, Caymanian women were the backbone of our society when the fathers and husbands went to sea to earn a living. And he saw that. He saw the role that women played in our society, exactly what Andrew is describing here. And yes, he says you cannot, one day is not enough. Looking at the strong history from the right to vote to the representation, even though it's small in numbers, but the role that they play in the society, in the churches, in the schools, and the basic education. It was amazing. And that governor made it into a national event, not celebrated on one day, but an entire month. Yes. So Cayman's political history is rich with women. Yes, we are rich with women who have their own unique story. And what I will do as of Monday, as of next week, each day I highlight some of those from the past and bring it forward to the future, because a lot of this history is not spoken about enough, so that you will understand exactly where we're coming from and where we are today. Because we do have women who stepped into public life long before it was common. And I can assure you, if you hear some of those, and if some of those who have passed on, they have stories that they have taken to them. And if they weren't captured by their loved ones, it's interesting. But some comes to mind, may her soul rest in peace, like Miss Edna Moyle. You know, she also served as a speaker of the then Legislative Assembly. Now, still with us is Miss J. Mary Lawrence. We got Miss Lucille Seymour, Miss Daphne Ard, and also Miss Berna Thompson Cummins. Now, their courage made the space for women to serve today. Say what you want. They're no longer serving at this time, so don't get it mixed up. And today, who we have currently making up our parliament where women are concerned are the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Connolly, and she served as the first female premier. We have sitting in parliament now Honorable Catherine E. Banks Wilkes, and she also served as Speaker of Parliament. We have Miss Heather Bodden, and we have Miss Julie Hunter, and now sitting there is Miss Perlina McGaw-Lumsden. They are current sitting members, okay? But we also had Miss Barbara Connolly as well, who was there. And like I said before, and for those of you who know, it was with gratitude. And, you know, I had the honor of serving just like these women from 2021 to 2025. And it was an honor as a first-time person to hold and be accepted and supported by the premier then and premier afterwards, supported by two governors, to hold the cabinet ministry of health and wellness. And then I was given home affairs. So those years taught me something very powerful. I'm going to be honest with you. It has given me a total different perspective on political life as a member of civil society, and still a positive contributor to my islands. But it was something powerful, because Caymanian women who leads with conviction, compassion, and definitely courage, you're made of something else. You're made differently. And we can see where the environment is changing, and you constantly have to, gender has no place in there, and you have to stand your own ground, but you're still being very critical. Still today, if you ask the women are still very much more critical of women holding certain office. And it isn't that the job is any easier for a man, but it's just because the environment is different. You're constantly fighting on to hold your seat. You see it straight across. Look at the UK. Look at my kudos go out to the Prime Minister for Barbados, Mia Moore Motley. And let me tell you something. I don't know what a woman is made out of. 3 terms. I applaud her. She is made differently. And you see other women in the region right now with the geopolitical climate being what it is. You're constantly looking over your back. Now, I was only a cabinet minister, and I knew what I had to endure. I can only imagine what it's like being the top person, what it is, especially if it is not a grouping that you actually put together or sees you as a true leader, respects the role as a leader, part of your group, and gender has no place in it. But I raise my hat to them for that. And I applaud them. But that's not to say that we don't have other strong, aspiring females, women who aspire to be in politics. And I hope that we will see increasing number in women stepping up. And I pray that our country will just mature to the point, educate ourselves a little bit more on the processes, how things work. Because what baffles me is that it still here appears to be a male dominant society of who get elected to office. However, the statistics still prove that women are the largest persons, numbers that go out to the polls and vote. So who is to blame when you say that not enough women are being elected? The polls ain't lying. If women are the largest gender that is showing up to the polls, it means they're more than likely voting for men. So I applaud the parliament for doing this. I see where they're galvanizing. I see where they're getting it together, because there's a big difference of women serving, even with how we present ourselves. I can recall back in the day where we would all decide to come in a specific color, and it would be good. Georgetown Central, infamous for this, he would say, we're going to wear blue ties tomorrow, purple ties, pink ties, whatever the ties is. And we're just there as the females, sitting down, listening to them, just totally getting absorbed into them and choosing their color of ties. And we're looking at each other as females. How much dresses do we have that we haven't already worn? Because if we wear it again, somebody could comment, well, she didn't have on that dress last month. She didn't have on that dress last week. Oh, but she was at that event. I think she had on that same outfit. Yeah, it's not as simple as a tie. And as ladies, we would constantly just be looking at, please, Kenneth, don't do it. Don't say a color. Because then we have to go and we have to try and figure out how are we going to be a part of this color matching scheme. Because for women, it's not just that easy. And these are some of the things that you look at when you're serving. And even though it's minor to some people, because you're just there to, okay, you're elected to serve the people. It's not a fashion show. Go away and don't put yourself together. You're representing everybody. You got to put yourself together at all times. So what I'm saying is those are little elements. Even our ministers who go all over the world to represent us, be it you're here on island or you go in the Caribbean, in the region, I feel you always need to be on your game when it comes to your suits, your jackets, how your posture, and all of that. And again, there's a difference with the needs of a woman and a man when it comes to maintaining a certain standard. So yeah, it's little things like that that I'm hoping, even though it may be minor to some of you, when you're on the world stage and we see spaces like this, podcasts like this that is real, you get on there and yes, you want to remain, so to speak, down to earth, but respect the role that you're in. Respect the role that you're in and always show that putting yourself together, because you're always constantly being judged. You're all from pushing your carts in the supermarket. You're always under scrutiny from having conversations, basic conversations, from just going out for family events, going to one of your favorite water spots like Cabana and just sitting down and just being human for a couple minutes. Once you're in that political role, the rules of the game change. And yes, women are looked at differently. So as we continue to evolve, as I continue to elevate talk, civic-minded education here, I'm hoping that together we will really see it through a fair and balanced lens. And hopefully one day we will see where the majority of persons being elected to political office are strong women who are capable to be honored to be elected because of your vote and, really do us well. But it is changing. I'm seeing it around the world. And this is not to say that we want this strong dominance of any one gender around the table. Fair, balance, inclusivity, and respect. Respect, I will always wear that, goes both ways. There are times, of course, we're humans. There's going to be a lighter side. Gosh, you need a little humor when you're actually taking the weight of an entire country, especially if you're a premier. But it can become a little stressful. It's the job you sign up for. And there are ways for releasing stress. You will have your jokes there. You get to learn your cabinet ministers and colleagues and those who you may run from a more personal level. You may get to meet their families and all that sort of stuff. You're in there to serve for 4 years. You might as well know who you're serving with. However, I did get told from some members who've served in the past that there is no trust. There's no trust because at the end of the day, remember, you're all fighting to maintain your seat. So what I'm saying is at the end of the day, you're constantly watching over your back, but never take away from the fact that you're elected there to serve the people of your country. And the people have given you their vote. They have given you the opportunity to represent them. And that is a noble and honorable calling. Shaka Zulu's in the house. Greetings to you, my love. How are you? Happy Friday as well. Clean and straight. So many of our women and men did so well here in Cayman and also overseas, and many of them didn't have the benefit of money or university education. They were smart and hardworking, though. Yes, I agree with you. Let me tell you something. We have made well as a jurisdiction, despite what limits, challenges that we may have faced. And I would say we continue on that path. When you look at what resources were available even back in the earlier days, those men and women who served for decision making were definitely our heroes, and we got to thank them. And for the decisions that they made, of course, many of them is why we're not independent today. So yes, we have a lot to be thankful for. Dorothy, good evening. How are you? Welcome, my dear. Miss Mitzi, how's it going for you? Happy Friday. Wishing you well for the weekend as well. Always good to have you joining me. Andrew says, women in politics understand and appreciate the situation much better than men. As being a mother, wife, and working into the economic industry, Honorable Mia Motley stands out in the Caribbean as one of the strongest women leaders our history recalls. Track record has proven how the people of Barbados has belief and trust to lead a third term. Her strength and fortitude are unmatched. You are quite right. Deserves this. If there's an example setter of true leadership, and I would even say breaking gender barriers, because let me tell you something, that woman, she's strong. She's strong. I applaud her. Good evening, Marshall. You are late to class, but it's good to have you here. Yes. But just for those of you, Alfred Real is in the house as well. Good evening to you, late to class. What are we talking about? Well, it's Open Mic Friday, Alfred Real. And I was just reminiscing of women in Parliament. There is an event that's going on right now, and I just was invited, but I chose to be here with you all this evening because, of course, the success of this is continuity and showing up. So, yep, I sacrificed being a part of history for this momentous occasion that's happening right now in Parliament. I will catch up with it once I end, and I'll probably end a little bit early so you guys could tune in because it is a Friday. But I was just updating or giving a recap and history on, for those of you just joining us as well, that in 1999, I learned this, 1999, the then Governor John Owen formally requested that the Cayman Islands expanded its recognition of women from a single day to an entire month. I didn't even realize that. And that request is thanks, compliments to an article that I found that was written by Caymanian Compass. So hey, and look, it is still something that we're going through and we're celebrating now. So who would have ever thought, so you gotta give credit where it's due. And here we are today still doing it. And now Parliament is modernizing themselves and being a part of the Commonwealth chapter and acknowledging and recognizing women who choose to stand for political office. And I'm hoping that someday that we will see more women actually being elected to office, and we see the younger ones aspiring to also show up in the space. Tartarian says, from the moment you step out of your home, it's like stepping on a stage, especially in Cayman. That's why I got rid of the old clothes in case I have to grab an outfit in a hurry. I always look good. Good for you, Tartarian. I remember, Tartarian, one day I changed 3 outfits. I changed 3 times in one day, and I'll never forget that. Why? As a minister of 2 separate ministries, I had different events going to, and I know GIS was going to run the stories not the same day. The stories would have been ran on different days. So I wore 3 different outfits for 3 different occasions so that it wouldn't have appeared that I wore the same outfit on the same day or for the same occasion. And that's the type of thinking you're constantly doing, because you'd be like, who would think of that? I'm conscious of it because, yes, before getting elected, I saw what was happening. After getting elected, I felt what it was like, and I lived it. So I had to pivot quickly to think. And not all ministries get stories out at the same time. And like I said, GIS, being on video, pictures being taken, yeah, that was something I was conscious of. So thank you for understanding. Shaka Zulu, amen for the Honorable Mia Motley. But Tartarian, you know what you're talking about. You know. Yesterday's conversation with Mr. Belika on confidentiality was a very eye-opening. My dear, let me tell you something. Some of the things that we actually, Tartarian, speak about, and not to get anyone in trouble, it's just us happy that you have some persons who are willing to impart their knowledge, steer us in the right directions, open doors for us, give many of us a chance. And you actually are proud. You're saying certain things, say in gratitude. It can be taken out of context. And that is why not all the time they say you must share your situations, your stories, your accomplishments. Sometimes the best things for you to do is just keep your head down and do what you got to do. And it's not like you're becoming a recluse. It's not like you're becoming selfish. You're actually protecting yourself and those who have helped you. And thank you for bringing that up. He constantly repeats, whether you're like Mr. Belika or not, that he constantly repeats all of what he has been through, how much locals he has tried to help, pathways he's trying to create to educate the public. And many a times, yes, he shares his own personal stories that will have impacts on legislations that are here in the Cayman Islands, but they are real life experiences. Kudos to him that he's an attorney himself or legal minded, but that he can help himself. But he is creating a foundation and pathways from what I'm learning from him over this space that many of us may actually need one of these days to defend our own selves, or to actually be learned enough that when you sit in the front, if you ever need legal representation, maybe one of his cases or case studies shared will spark a memory in you and say, look, but I can remember this. So as much as some of you don't like maybe how he brings it across, there's a lot to be learned. There's a lot that he's endured. And for his own testimony, a lot of locals that he continued to help, even in private, and has tried in his own day. So thank you for acknowledging that. And I really hope that he can get his courses off, be able to offer that here in the Cayman Islands, because I see the importance. I've gotten the feedback of how we're delivering on this space, that people actually appreciate it. Now, mind you, they may not necessarily always say it in public. They may not necessarily always comment here, but I do get it secondhand, third hand, and direct. The gratitude and appreciation that people have actually conveyed and is conveying of the time I'm taking to actually go through policies, procedures, legislation, and bills, so that when you actually tune into these parliamentary meetings, that you're not lost, that the terms being used, the whole processes, you get an understanding of what's going on. And then you are being better informed, so that even when you engage with your parliamentarians, your constituency representatives, your members of parliament elected, that you ain't coming to them just swallowing everything they want to say. You should be able to be versed enough to challenge them, ask questions that will actually pull some answers out of them, so that you can understand exactly where they're headed, and be open and frank. To me, that's what they should all be, right? But yeah, as we continue to mature here in the Cayman Islands, as we continue to develop policy, update our legislation, I am hoping that the environment where females are concerned will be more conducive, even more attractive to females. And I'm really looking forward to the future to see what that brings, and in regards to other females that will put themselves up for office. Alfred Reel says, since it's open mic, what's your thoughts on the number of strong independent women who are holding it down while some men just live off of them? That's a choice that they make. We are not, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel that we weren't designed to just be on this planet alone. Not saying that you got to marry, but if you choose as an independent woman to have somebody just sit down, and I wouldn't even call that exploitation. I would almost want to say that's a choice you choose to make. Now, if you're wealthy enough that you can actually afford to have a boy toy and not a real man at home, because if he's a real man to me, he would try to do something. I don't know. Maybe you're enough. Your net worth is enough that you can just have him home at your beck and call, and he becomes exactly what that is. Kudos to you. I don't know. But my point is, based on what we bring to the table, you understand the partner that you with, and you got to understand at what level they meet you at, and you work. Hopefully one of these days, both of you will be on the same level, but still very supportive of each other. But a matter of manipulation, that can go down to another rabbit hole. I think it all depends. It's not just one simple answer. Many people choose to or can't even get out of it. There could be a number of reasons, but my opinion is knowing who I am, knowing what my worth, and knowing my own strength. Ain't nobody gonna exploit me unless I allow them to do that. I don't like that. Not even my children. They gotta be independent. Hope it answers your question, Alfred. And you got a 10 o'clock show tonight. Yes, there is Love and Lies. Love and Lies. Yeah. So you're not hiding anymore. But 345-936-8255 is the number to call to join in this conversation if you want to participate live. Andrew says, women are the epitome of life. Without women, there would be no me and you. Hence, God created Eve. Yes, yes, yes. And the rib that he took in order to create based on what the good book says. Yep, we are here. And we all have our place in society. But I got to be honest with you, just be real talk now. Oh, God. Some of us really, really disappointing. I mean, we're all made equal in his own image. That's both genders. But really and truly, you got to wonder. Some of them lack ambition. Some of them lack all kind of issue. And I guess you go wonder, really and truly, circumstances do change certain things, certain cultures. But yeah, it is different. We here in the Western world and people over in the other side of the world, cultures have a lot to do with it. But I think one thing that is ingrained in all human beings is that we have intelligence, and ambition is something that is born from you as an individual, self-worth, respect, and all of that sort of stuff. That to me is born of an individual. Yes, your environment can change the way certain things may appear, how things come across. And circumstances will actually choose what path some of us go. Like I know some people will frown upon, the big topic about sexual transmitted disease. Yes, that's very important. Huge, huge. But who am I to judge somebody who decides to make their living by doing that? Selling OnlyFans page. Who am I to judge to get themselves through school, to keep the lights on? It's better to me than actually selling drugs or going to hijack someone or to rob or steal. It's some countries, you can monetize those pages. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is I don't judge. I don't think it's fair for us to judge. And we all have to do what we have to do in order to keep the lights on. But who am I to judge? That may be a whole topic, a whole different day, because far too often, and here we go again, the women are judged the hardest. And why? Why? When at the end of the day, when you look at statistics internationally, in most relationships, unions that has kids, who ends up with the child or children in the event a union is broken down? Isn't it the mother? When you check at even child support, who, if you have to get the courts involved, who ends up taking the parent to court? Isn't it the mother begging the man to take care of the child or children? And some women says, I'm bigger than this. My child is not going to go for want. I got to do whatever it takes in order for me to make them finish their masters. They're going to, whatever they want to be, to keep food on the table, to give them a clean and healthy surrounding. And I could do whatever it takes as long as it's legal. Who am I to judge? So when you look at societal pressures, even on females, and what we have to do in continuing to hold down the household, Andrew, kudos to every partner and every relationship where it's top notch. You've raised your children, they have moved on, they have done well for themselves, but there's still a lot of women that are out there struggling, and they actually brave, they're running empires, they're running big businesses, still juggling home life. And you would never know when they're hurting, because exactly why they become very rigid in even expressing themselves, because they're judged differently. And worse, if they're a partner of an organization, or if they're big CEOs in organizations. Oh, up in your feelings. Oh, is it that time of the month? Really? We're breaking all of that now, because women are stepping up to the plate and saying, look, That's how I was made. That's how I designed, but that's not an excuse for you to use against me. We got work to be done. We got strategy to work out. We got a company to run. And, everyone breaks at some point because we're human. Men breaks too, of course. But why is it appears, even though it's changing, that they're a little bit more lenient or harder on the females than it is of the males? And would you say it's really being done by the men? Or is it really pushed on the women, pushed on by women? It'll be interesting, but I'm going to do some research on that just to see exactly what that's like. I know more and more we are steering away from male. We're globally, we're looking for more inclusion level numbers in certain organizations. And I think it's more embracing and more accepting, but the undercurrents still exist. The undercurrents in certain industries still exist where men are leading and it's not creating enough space or room for women to have an opportunity to serve. So as we continue to evolve, let's see how the world actually shifts, because spaces like this, organizations, NPOs, what move the parliament is now making, will actually open doors for other opportunities, making the environment more appealing, more attractive as well for women. Tartarian says, on the matter of Caymanian status, it seems like people who are not from here behave like they lost their birth citizenship. Why is that? They are now soliciting Caymanian status. Such a desperate move. Or really? Again, Tartarian, it is the lifestyle that we have created here in the Cayman Islands. I'm not going to tell you that everyone comes here with any intentions of ever acquiring to be here long term, because now we're seeing where the cost of living is definitely making it more or less attractive. But for the most part, to answer you, it seems like persons who are not from here behave like they lost their birth citizenship. They don't want to go back. So yeah, that's why they're behaving like that. We have created such a nice environment, created opportunities in an environment where they can actually survive and succeed and excel better than ourselves. Why not? And it's our legislation. So hopefully what legislation is now being put in place is that it becomes a less attractive environment, and we will see less of that happening. But Tartarian statistic has it that the largest number of Caymanian citizenship that is given away or approved by the boards, let me correct myself, is through the grounds of marriage. And it takes a Caymanian to marry an expat in order for them to get that, if you see where I'm going with this. And that is really the facts. So even those who go through by PR, permanent residence for being here 8 years and all that sort of stuff, the numbers are still higher for those who acquire Caymanian status. It is on the grounds of marriage. And that means they have married a Caymanian. Okay? And we have heard stories where Caymanians feel that they've been used, but they still not going in to report them because they were nice. Oh, they helped me out. They helped my auntie. Oh, they're taking this one. They took me with 3 children. They took me with 4 children. Every excuse than being gatekeepers of citizenship. So that's a social problem. That's possibly a cultural problem. And that may be Caymankind on steroids. So that's the real conversation, Tartarian, that we need to have. Alfred Real, women deserve more credit than we give them. We need each other, but men need women more than women need men. Women being bring a civilizing force to men. I think right now, Alfred, to be honest, if you got some mature men out there, I think it's almost even. I think maturity, men are hunters, naturally hunters. But to say that you don't have some males that mature very early and is focused, driven, know exactly what they want, you're seeing them more on the side of just getting things done. But I think at the end of the day, yeah, we need to give women a little bit more credit. I can see that actually being increased, improved. But I think who needs who more? We all need each other. I don't, yeah. I think it's even because I'm not your mother. I definitely ain't your helper. So if it comes to just being that nurturing care person, that's how we're coded. But I'm not your mother and I'm not your helper. If you get where I'm going with that, Alfred Real. Jim, how are you, my love? I admit I'm late. You are. I wonder why. Allergy season is upon us and it's kicking. Oh, I'll just sit back and listen. Aw, hope you're recovering well. Yes, yes, yes. And I hope you feel better soon. Yeah, it's that time of the year. Andrew says, how many of us knew a single mother, whether divorced or by choice, with her children having even 2, even 3 jobs without support from the father? Under pressure to meet all the needs of them over themselves and education to produce prominent young men and women. Andrew, I would love to do a survey on that one. But a lot of these women actually do it, and they do it with grace and dignity, and you will never know. And they are the ones who just get it done because they know life happens. And sometimes you don't expect things to go downhill, and it does. And that's when you really see what a woman is made of, especially those responsible women. We have some that are questionable. They have children here, there, and there, and their body got them, and this family member got them. But let's be real. You got some moms and dads as well who really step up to the plate. You got some really gems of dads out there. And I know a few in my life that even on Mother's Day, I say Happy Mother's Day to them. And it's not being disrespectful. But at the end of the day, there'll be a large number, I feel, that is doing it right now, holding multiple jobs down, dealing with it, and just making sure that they give these children a chance. And let's hope that the children, now that they are being raised in a single parent home, they can appreciate and respect the challenges that comes with that. Because even though society is changing and there are more single homes with in vitro fertilization, now you don't even need a partner in your house to be able to bear a child. You can actually have a child, freeze your eggs, and don't have a male figure in the life because you choose to be a parent, and you choose to be a parent without another parent in the child's life. So it's going to be interesting where the future leads when it comes to the typical home that we're accustomed to. And I would prefer to be a single parent living in a very healthy environment, raising a child or children, couple pets, than to be an abusive relationship that is adding no value to the household or the children's life. I would just prefer to just do it on my own. And sometimes that does work out for the best. But it will be interesting to see where the future is leading in regards to what a typical family home looks like. Yeah. So I'm quite sure there is a number of persons out there that are working multiple jobs. I know for a fact I have in my family hardworking members who did what they had to do for their children, continue to do it as well. And they ain't shame of hard work. Hard work ain't kill a soul. And they just made it happen. Now the kids are growing and they're going on their own. It's not easy. It's not easy. And like I said, life doesn't always dish you the hand that you expect, where it's roses, tulips, no issues. Yeah, it's real. Life is real and it hits hard sometimes. So at the end of the day, what you say, Andrew, You know what is hard, Sabrina, is a mother having to tell her child, we don't have money for food or essentials. And the question comes up, where is the father? Oh my God. Yes. Yes. And that's a delicate line when you have to try and answer that question without really speaking your mind, if it is by choice or just worthless. But it's different if under tragic circumstance, the father is not long. But we're just going to keep it where the father is still existent, working, having a good life, was just a donor. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard. And let me tell you something. It takes a very strong person to maintain their composure and answer that question, almost hiding one's true emotions and feelings. Because at the end of the day, that child will get older and they're going to still want to be with their father. And only when they get older, may they understand why the relationship possibly didn't last. But there's going to be a period of time where that child is just too young to understand. And you are there and you're just holding it down. You really want to scream. You want to just like really rip everything to shreds, but you can't. Because that child didn't ask to be here. And you're going to try and create that stability, hoping that that child does not end up being a statistics. And it goes back, Andrew, to what I said. I would prefer to raise my children alone in a home, an environment that I can create, as hard as it is, alone, than being in an abusive one, be it physical or mental abuse. But it is hard. It is hard. And I'm quite sure, as rough as times is right now, plenty of that is happening right here. And sometimes, unfortunately, stats will show that some of the only meals or balanced meals these children do get in many of our homes today is from school. And hence, the free lunches and snacks program at school. Now, it has been argued that some of the children are wasting the food at the school. Because easy come, easy go, I guess. I don't know. But that is something I hope that the Minister of Education and the operational arm in the Ministry of Education will look at, to really look at the wastage. Because if it is so, and we know that a number of these children over the weekend usually don't have food, some households are worse than others, then you wonder, why would the wastage then in the school be so high as what is alleged? So I think we need to look at that. Is it a case where we do it straight across the board, or you assess households? I don't know. But yes, it is alleged that a lot of the food is being wasted. Yes. And at some point, if they're just going to toss the food in the garbage, bite it, open up a drink, just leave it, barely drink out of it just because you can just go and pick it up, government ain't going to be able to afford that. And at some point in time, maybe a household is going to have to be assessed. And only those households who meet a certain threshold then would actually qualify for this. So that speaks a lot to the young men and women who are in school that are benefiting from this free program as well. Because nationally, there's a responsibility that we have to take care of our people, and we understand the importance of a balanced meal and nutrition. And when it comes to education, but if it is true that they're wasting the food, really and truly, maybe we need to visit that. We probably will need to visit that. Andrew says, true, and unfortunately, it's going to get harder. Oh, yeah. Oh, we ain't see it yet. He ain't see it yet. Just take a look around us. Just take a look around what's happening. Can they serve smaller portions? I don't even know if it's about the portions, to be honest. Some of the children said it's not what they want. It doesn't taste good. It is not like our traditional food. I don't know. From what I hear from my cousins who go there, they have options of wraps and salads and that sort of stuff. People, we like a little chili. Miss Kay is chili. We love our maybe curd chicken and white rice, barbecue chicken days. I don't know. I really don't know. None of my kids are in school. It's just my cousins and stuff. And being there in the political role, you got to hear some numbers. And we hear people who are involved with PTA as well, parents who get involved, that they actually witness the wastage. We have teachers that log on here. Private message me if this is actually the case. Have you seen this? You can privately WhatsApp me where the wastage of the lunches. I'd appreciate that feedback because you guys are in there. You would know whether or not it's a waste. Or is it that the quality of the food is not up to standard? Does it meet what we're accustomed to? Understanding we allow our food seasoned, but it doesn't mean that it's healthy. So if nutritionists are weighing in on this, and it's not accustomed to they're not accustomed to getting certain types of food being prepared a certain way for nutritional benefits. The kids may actually throw it away because they're saying this don't taste good. So I can remember when my younger son was in Red Bay, that's a long time ago. He used to love, I don't remember, I think it was Wednesday, where they had sausage and beans and something else. But whatever day that was, let me tell you something. Christopher loved that day. He loved that day. And he made friends with some of the little people in the canteen. And that's how I got to know them. Because they were saying, oh, if there's one student, those days we had to pay. They had the little plastic cards that had value, $3, $2, $1. We had to buy lunch those days. And they said, oh, yeah, Christopher was in today. And when they saw him coming, he got his health portion. But it goes back to say maybe it's the choices and how they're prepared. I don't know. I can't speak on that. Most children have become spoiled. And yes, Burger King, KFC, and Domino's. They said that there was something linked to that, to the high sugars and high sodium content that is addictive. And sugar, we know, is addictive. Your body automatically craves it. And even cleaner eating, if you do more plant-based choices, that sort of stuff, you see how your body, you will actually smell like peanut butter. You would smell like certain things when you're trying to purge or you're trying to do a liquid diet for a while just to reset. Your body is something. So maybe that is the case. They're addicted to the fast foods. And if you look strategically along Walker's Road, that we do have a fast food joint there. Interesting, isn't it? And you see them a lot of times. You would see those students either from the college, university, and the older kids from the private schools that are on the road. You would see them actually walking to the fast food joints getting food. So let's see where we're going to head with that. 345-936-8255 if you want to join in this conversation. Otherwise, I'm going to exit stage left so I can take in what I decided to not attend to be here with you. But the phone lines are open on this Open Mic Friday. And I'm hoping that I can hear back from some of you. Thank you for Andrew for keeping my company for sure. And all of you who don't even comment, but I know you appreciate what I bring to you every day. I want to let you know I appreciate you very, very much. But yes, just to make mention of these women who are actually serving in our parliament and the role now that they have to play as well. I didn't call other female member, Ms. Tara Rivers, also served. Sorry, it just thing. But yeah, she also served as a very young, well, not very, but young female who served and decided to exit stage left. And to the best of my knowledge, she was a single mom and she did what she had to do and she served and she's now enjoying life in the private sector. Good for her. So these are women who stood up. And let me tell you, it's not easy. It is not easy. By far, it's not easy. And unless you have a real good family support, let me give you my honest opinion. Do not run for politics if you have a young child or children. Unless you have a strong family understanding, because let me tell you what, there are going to be many days you are going to miss many events. And in the critical days, especially if they're young, adolescents, that you're going to sit back and say, OMG, where has the time gone? And my word to any female who may be considering and is still of childbearing age, think of that before you throw yourself in. It is not easy. For me, it was a walk in the park to serve because I have no young children. My children are adults. They have moved on with their life. And even my dogs are old. They're seniors. And I have a very, very understanding and supportive partner. And let me tell you something. If you think it doesn't impact your personal household, your personal life, think again. It is the prayers of the unknown in order to serve. And it isn't any different because I was a female. It is just the nature of the game. So that would be my only advice that I would impart, especially on for females, to think carefully. You can still be very involved politically, but to say, run and hold elected office, be very careful at the age of your children, because that is time that you will never get back. You will never get it back. And it will impact the children. They may not say it then because they don't understand. But I can assure you, the whole connection is broken. And especially if you go over multiple terms, connection, because you're a robot when you go home. 95% of the time you're a robot. You're so mentally charged, tired, and it's going from one thing to the next. And based on your elected responsibilities, sometimes you may get 3-4 hours sleep. What quality of that? Sometimes. And it all depends on the ministries that comes with the responsibilities. Oh, let me tell you. So that would be my only advice to any female that is considering to run for political office. Not saying don't be a part of a party, but think twice when you put yourself up for political office. I think you're making a very big mistake if you have young children. And don't think, oh, I got it locked. It all depends on jurisdiction, what constituency, and you got to know the needs of your constituents, because it's not the same after you get elected versus it being an idea, an aspiration, and during a campaign. It gets real after you're elected, and literally the demands of the people change. Their expectation changes as well. So think carefully about that. Andrew says, demand for your child or children becomes priority. If you have family support, then maybe. That's not even a maybe, Andrew. It all depends on the age. It would just not be something. And this is speaking from experience. And I did not have young children, but I observe. And you look back at all of those who served, what kind of relationships they have. And if they're honest ever with themselves, they will look back and say, oh my gosh, if I could turn back the hands of time. And don't live with regrets. If you can control your future now, take it from someone who sat there. And I did not have young children at all. I had very supportive family. Thank God for them. But I would never make that decision if I have young children, not in the environment that politics is taken right now. Mm-mm. Oh, heck no. Tartarian says, fun fact. Did you know class of 1990 dominated the 2025 rate? Yes, yes, yes. I figured that out. I was sitting there. And you know what, Tartarian? Even when you look at chief officers and deputy chief officers right now sitting in government, it's class of 1990. Yeah. So it looks as though it's going from the 7 to 6 era now to the night class of 1998 and 1990, some 91s. But yes, where election is concerned, class of 1990. Kudos to us, and we're aging like fine wine. I ain't getting old. According to Marshall, he's still what, 26? I think he said. Can't remember how old the brute said he was the other day, but Marshall is in denial. Jim says, Andrew Campbell, completely full of preservatives, stabilizers, flavor enhancers, modified starches, leaving leveling agents. I think that's raising, right? Yeah. And sometimes, oh yeah, that gives me headache. MSG, high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors, dough conditioners, and emulsifiers. Some of them you can't even call. Jim, OMG. Yep, you're quite right. Denver is late to class. You went to Happy Hour. Well, where were you? Where were you? As the Honorable Roy Bodden said to me when I asked him why he didn't throw his hat back in the ring, he said, Denver Douglas, politics is a dirty game. I would never get back into the political arena. And don't you even think about it unless you have a solid backbone. But it's funny how he said that to you. I gotta pull out Mr. Roy right now. He tells me, do not say you will never do it again. Well, let me repeat it for the 11th time. Never again. I guess only somebody who has reached that point in their life will understand why you say you'll never do it again. And this is not born on hate or animosity. It's just not me. It's no, electric roll is not me. And no. So yeah, it's interesting. I go pull up Mr. Roy, but he doesn't like when I say that. He even challenged me on my platform to say, well, what if there's a petition that goes around and people want you? No. The answer is still no. So no one has to be scared of me coming at them. You scared of your own shadow. You ain't scared of me. No, I didn't go half hour and don't. Why? Live a life. Live a little bit, man. Live a little bit. It's good to always have you here with us, Denver, and wishing you a very good weekend. But I'm going to exit stage left right now so that you guys can tune in. And I also want to see what I can get live from the Parliament sitting here this evening. And I want to thank you all for joining me. And if you didn't know how we ended up celebrating, Denver, you're late, but you got almost catch. Amen. How we ended up celebrating Women's Month for an entire month instead of one day. It dates back to 1999. The then Governor John Owen requested that Cayman expanded it from just not one day, but just for the entire month. And that has continued now into 26 years as a tradition. So if you didn't know that, now you know. And I was floored by that. It just kept digging and digging and digging. And it was interesting of my findings. So, yeah. So kudos and congratulations to all the females who won at the polls this year and who are still currently serving. And that's former Premier, not former, used to be Premier, Miss Juliana O'Connor Conley, Catherine E. Banks Wilkes, Miss Heather Bodden. Congratulations to Miss Julie Hunter and Perlina McGlaw Lumsden, who are sitting females in our parliament right now. And to all of those who came before, thank you for paving the way. All of you who have served, thank you, thank you, thank you for serving. And I'm quite sure, like how you have the beauty pageants. I think at some point in time, we need to all get together to do a then. Yeah, to do a then versus now, to just hear the difference in stories, understanding the environment, how it has changed, even looking at politics, and exactly what it's like. I do feel from the bottom of my heart that we are going to have more women run. I just know myself that I'm done. I'm done. I feel that I'm doing my civic duty. I'm serving, I'm filling a role. I am happy where I'm at in doing this. And I have other things right now that are lining up and soon come. So when you know, and I can tell you what, no, that role is not for me. So I think it's only fitting for me to just say I have lots of supporters that were not only limited to Prospect, but all over 3 islands. I want to thank you for your support. Even to today, I was fielding calls. And like every day, I still get calls. I still help people navigate stuff. That's just who I am. But that is a stint in my life that I will always hold dear, because I wouldn't have gotten there unless somebody had faith in me. And I will cherish it for the rest of my life. And I congratulate all of those persons who are there. And I will encourage those who aspire not to use any one individual, be it male or female, to determine whether or not you want to serve your country. Just remain true to who you are. Never allow yourself to be owned. Be able to not put out a show when you're on the stage, and after you get elected, then there's another person. You got to always remain whole, always remain humble, and definitely, where integrity is concerned, that should be the core fiber of who you are. Because there will be a time that your season will end, your chapter will close, and what you have left is your reputation, your dignity, and your character. And one thing for sure, I can stand proud and hold my head high, but I will encourage anyone to not use anyone's experience, anyone's example, to be a deciding factor, especially if you're a female, to run for political office. The only nugget I will leave with you is think long and hard if you have young children. That would be the only caveat that I say, hold off, because I can assure you there will be regrets that only you will have to live with. That brings me to a close of this early today edition of Open Mic Friday right here on Sabrina Speaks. I want to thank you all for joining, even if you joined late. But please, hoping that the live stream is still on, go on, log on to Parliament and see what's going on there as we create history here in the Cayman Islands. I chose to stay with you because you are the foundation of who I am, and making this space as we continue to grow, educate, and impart knowledge with each other. So I chose to be here with you. Now I'll share the tubes with you as well as I go and I sit back on this Friday evening with a nice adult beverage while they're in there. And guess where I'm at? I home. Denver, thank you. Thank you very much for helping to educate our public and our politics. Perfect position for you. Unfortunately, you bound with secrecy, as I'm sure there's much you'd like. Oh, Lord, God bless you. Yes, sir. And I will always be true to that. But in time, it will all make sense. And there are things that you don't have to speak. It will come out one day. Please be safe. To all of my people who worship on this Saturday, happy Sabbath to you. To all of my Sunday people, happy Sunday to you. And for all of our persons in the front line, thank you again for your service. It has indeed been a pleasure. Please be safe on the road. I know weird things happen on the weekend. For God's sake, gonna be safe on the road. Please be responsible. And until Monday, have a great weekend. Love y'all lots. God bless. See you soon.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.